Slipping, I'm falling, I can't get up. Slipping, falling, I can't get up. Slipping, falling, I can't get up. Back to home, feet about to tear shit up.
All right, I like it. Answers by guess, guys. Holy moly, it's Tuesday, week 8. I just don't. This year is just flying by, flying by. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, got some comments going. Change the tempo to the opening track. Did you change the tempo to the opening track there, sir?
I ain't touch it.
Uh-oh.
I did notice that when it comes on, it goes a little fast in the beginning for some reason. Some weird thingamajig. And then it slows down. But we didn't change it. I don't know what it is. Glitch. The Matrix.
I'm gonna go Facebook, guys. That's always gonna be. Facebook likes to mess with us. So
Blame
remember
Mark.
those days of the purple screen? At least we don't get that crap anymore.
Well, you better knock on some wood,
crap.
boy.
My bad.
You better knock on some wood, boy.
All right, guys.
Hope you survived by Mageddon. Well, I was on my way to another 6-0 week. Ended up going 5-1 once again. Lost another game by less than 1.5 points in the ABG League because Dearness went to town.
And Mason Crosby needs to make some freaking field goals.
I mean, it got blocked if that did get blocked. But, coulda, shoulda, if, what, but, why.
All right. Remember, guys, always like us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Guess, do you want to go over Sunday and Monday, or do you want to kind of just jump right into questions and go from there?
Yeah, today was a ridiculously busy day for myself, and that's why I opened with I'm slipping, I'm falling, I can't get up, because these 2 weeks in a row I didn't get the recap done, but that's okay. I mean, a couple of the things that we could talk about, we could point out, Goff be golfing.
He be golfing.
As talked about on the Saturday night show for the week, Teddy B needs to get benched. We got to see Drew Lock. I'd like to see Jacob Eason next week because Geno Smith is doing nothing. Might as well give him 1 week to get some burn in before Russ comes back after the bye. Quarterbacks are hurting, but we'll see what happens.
All right. I'm just posting some questions here. Let's start going through the comments. Why not?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I would point out from Sunday is going to come up in a question. So let's save some time.
All right. Jeremy, you changed the tempo of the opening track. That's why we had mentioned it. That's why he had said it. I think it's going to go with Facebook. Facebook. Back in the top 4, baby boys, and the Knicks are winning. I don't know if you guys can see. That's on in the background. If you see me turning around here and there, it's because I'm watching. But good job, man. ABG League. A lot of people are close. I mean, very close records throughout from top to bottom. This really can go. I mean, the 17 weeks is really going to, I think, show this year more than any, especially in that league.
Yeah.
Josh took my first loss. Dude, it was by Mageddon.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, we said on Saturday, if you can get through this week with a win, that'd be a good thing. If you got a loss, you shake it off. You move on. Odds are, I don't know by heart your team, but I'm going to imagine you had a bunch of guys on bye. Maybe Josh Allen was one of them.
All right. KC might as well have been on a bye. But Mahomie is not looking very Mahomie, and then he got kneed in the face.
Yeah, their big problem is their defense. Their defense is terrible. I thought that they'd be, pretty good. They're not doing them any favors. What they're doing is they're getting down points, and Mahomes is stuck. I'm sure everybody watched or at least saw highlights, but he's stuck in highlight mode. Right? He needs to rein it in a little. There's guys open, and all he wants to do is chuck a deep one to Tyreek. He's hitting Kelsey pretty much every time he throws it to him. He's just not throwing it to him enough. And he's got guys open. They need to do what I am saying all NFL teams need to do is check down a little bit. And hey, Derek Gore got a carry. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they got to rein it in. He got pumped up too quickly, and he's got to pull it back just a little and realize you can win with small ball, and winning will bring the love, because right now he is not getting much of that.
I know a lot of people hate on CEH, but not having a run game that you can kind of lean on. I mean, they don't run the ball anyways, but at least giving that option for play action, it's just not there. They know they're throwing the ball, and that's what defenses are keying. I mean, think about Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee has one of the worst secondaries in the league. And they made these guys look like chumps. Like, yeah. I mean, they really made them look bad, man. And they knew Mahomes is going to throw on me. So you know what? We'll put 4 at the line, and everybody else is going to be back.
I mean, you get down 17-0 first quarter, 24 real quick. I mean, the defense is not doing him any favors, but he's also not helping his own cause. He needs to rein it in just a little bit.
All right, Sean, with ABG League points leader this week, babe. Yeah, nice job, dude. Nice. In my league, Mageddon was an explosion for Rob in my, I guess I would say, most important league. I think I scored like 220 something points. I mean, it was mind blowing. But that's when it happens when you have Burrow and Chase.
Yeah. First rounder next year, Chase.
You called it, man. You said it. I think you said it like in week 2 or something like that. Week 3, after the 2 first good weeks. Josue with the question: drop Beasley for Agnew, half-point PPR would just be for depth, and I have Lawrence a pair just in case.
Yeah, Beasley's getting looks. I mean, yeah. Or I mean, not Beasley, Agnew. Agnew's getting looks. Yeah, I don't hate it, especially if you get return yardage points, because he's still returning the ball. I'm not a huge Beasley guy. Beasley, his production's probably going to go up this week and next week with Knox being out. Knox has been taking a lot of Beasley's love. So you make that drop, somebody else will probably scoop Beasley after week 8, because Beasley will probably have a pretty decent game against Miami. But I like it. Agnew is up and coming. Beasley's older. And you know his role, and Agnew's role is growing. So, sure. I like it.
Yeah, and especially seeing what Diggs was actually getting targeted more. Guess was kind of calling that, saying that this is kind of maybe a little bit of a turnaround. And Sanders is going to probably go down a little bit too. So it would be interesting to see there. All right, Keith with a question. What should my priority pickup be for a waiver? I need a running back and a wide receiver this week. I can probably grab Boston Scott. And which Packers receiver should I get? Lazard, which he's now on COVID list, or MVS? Or do I leave Scott and just use David Johnson against the Rams?
Yeah, the whole Sanders situation, Sanders was on his way to a pretty good game, which is something I thought was going to happen before he got hurt. They were actually using him. And when he got hurt, Scott did okay. And Gainwell got a little burn. So we don't know what's going to happen with Scott and Gainwell. We've seen Sanders go down last year, as early as last year. But Gainwell wasn't there. I mean, when Sanders went down, Scott got burned. Scott did pretty well. I would grab Scott, and I'd take a shot. As far as the Packers go, it has to be MVS, because Lazard's not going to play this week. He's on the COVID list. This question was probably posted before that news came out. So, Keith, hopefully you're watching. You could grab MVS, because if he gets activated for Thursday, he's going to be their top dog.
Yeah, I mean, they really don't. A Tunyon, I guess, would be possibly another good call there as far as if a tight end. But I mean, I'm not a big fan of Thursday games as it is. But they're gonna have to put somebody out there.
Yeah, I was high on MVS coming into the season. He got hurt. He was pretty good once he finally connected with A-Rod. So he'll be the number 1 option.
Yeah, hopefully he could do what Adam's been doing. Josh with the question: roll with Dak versus Vikings injury or Matt Ryan versus Panthers?
I like the way that Matt Ryan's rolling, but that defense is definitely better. I'd like to have Dak, but the injury is a little bothersome. Let's see how practice goes this week. If Dak practices in full, I'll probably go Dak, because you have a chance for a little rushing yards there. But Ryan, like I said, the offense is going up. The Panthers desperately need a win. Sam Darnold not doing them any favors. He was seeing the ghosts again, I think, last week. It's the ghosts of what the hell's the name of the stadium? MetLife.
MetLife Stadium. Yeah,
The ghosts of MetLife. He was seeing them, and Panthers defense is good. Matt Ryan's doing better, so I think either one you're going to be fine with. I'd go with Dak if he practices in full by Thursday.
You know who else was seeing ghosts? Justin Fields.
Like, he's terrible. He's somebody I forgot to mention when I was talking about the quarterbacks. You know, Matt Nagy, as much as we dogged him, Justin Fields is just not good.
He's not ready. I mean, you could see, dude, he didn't look like he even wanted to go back on the field.
No,
like he was grabbing his helmet. Like I hate to say it, he looked like he was going to cry. Like he looked like he was just so angst and like so over with emotion that, I mean, poor kid. I guess you got to put Dalton back in. I mean, give the kid some time on the bench, but what kind of confidence booster is that going to be if you bench him?
All right.
So,
well, two things. One, you know, as much as Matt Nagy is terrible and he's going to be fired, he got one thing right. At the beginning of the season, he was trying to tell people who were calling for Fields to get the starting job, he was trying to tell people he's not ready. He's not ready. We're going with Dalton. Fields is not ready, and people thought he was an idiot. He looks pretty smart in that regard because he called that one. He said that Fields wasn't ready. He did not want to start him. He had to. I bet they wish they had Mitch Trubisky. And it kind of makes you feel like Mitch Trubisky really wasn't that bad, was he? It was the team. It was the coaching.
Offensive line, too. They're not giving the kid any time either, I feel like, man.
Yeah.
But he is just chucking the ball up there, too. I mean.
And the other thing, as bad as he looked, let's remember they were playing the Bucks, right? They were playing the Bucks. They were playing behind. They had to force things. It's a tough defense, tough place to play. You know, so we'll give them a little bit of a benefit, but this has been week in and week out. And before the answers even come, you're benching A-Rob, you're benching Mooney. You know, there's nothing else you could do at this point. If you miss a blow-up game from them, so be it. So be it.
Yeah, you can't take that risk.
No.
I mean, nowadays, I mean, you're getting into week 8 now. I mean, wins are going to start mattering. You know, this is where the crunch time, and especially with bye weeks, I mean, you would want to be able to put an A-Rob onto the field, especially during bye weeks, but you just can't trust him. I mean, trading him either is not going to happen. I mean, you're not going to trade him low unless you're getting something low as well right back. Like something I was thinking about, to be honest with you, sorry to cut you off, me trading for A-Rob, like I was thinking about trading Julio Jones for an A-Rob. They're both in the same situation. Tannehill is obviously the better quarterback, but they don't throw the ball as much. He's constantly hurt. I'd rather take a shot being like, you know what? A-Rob may get a couple here and there. Maybe Dalton comes back in or something like that. That would be something I would consider because they're kind of big names that are in very similar situations.
Yeah, I'm not cutting A-Rob.
Correct.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you're benching him. If you're cutting him for, I got a feeling Khalil Herbert is going to have some burn even when Montgomery comes back. Damian Williams is exactly what I thought he was in the beginning of the season when I didn't really like him too much. No offense, Rob, you did.
I did.
He showed okay, and he still could. But I think Khalil Herbert, the fresh kid on the scene, is turning a lot of heads, and for the right reasons. And I think he's going to earn himself some playing time even when Montgomery's back. So, like, if Khalil Herbert is out there somehow still, which he's not, but, like, I would be like, yeah, okay, I'll drop A-Rob for him. Like, that's what it would take. Otherwise, I just bench him. He's depth.
Yeah, exactly. He's depth right now. And, dude, good call. Khalil Herbert, you got to punch him in the mouth. And that's exactly what he's doing. He was running hard at the Bucks every single time he touched the ball. Every time.
Yeah. So hopefully other teams take notice of that. Like, don't be afraid of Tampa before you even try. And that's a good life lesson. Right?
Yeah. Good point, man. All right, let's go to Michael here. Gainwell or Boston Scott? You kind of mentioned it a little bit before. Who will benefit the most from Sanders being out?
I'll be honest. I think that Scott's going to be the starter. I think Scott will get the most burn, but you're going to see Gainwell. He's not going to be inactive or he's not going to be unused. They'll split to a degree. I have a feeling Scott will get the first crack at it. Is he better than Gainwell? Gainwell's built up a little bigger, but they're both little. I think you take a shot at both. If you need a running back, you put him in, and you learn.
I mean, Gainwell did have the touchdown. I mean, the Hurts was kind of looking for Gainwell as a safety net. I thought Boston Scott though had a little bit of more of a burst. I saw though.
Yeah, and he's got the experience. He's the veteran. He's probably going to get first crack at it.
All right, let's go, Spencer. Oh, is it working? There it is. I said it's a long question. I don't know if you can get it. Yeah, we got the question, Spencer. I'm actually going to bring up a share screen so that we can look at your players and go from there. Antonio, need a kicker. Who should I drop? McKissick, Callaway, or Green? Why don't you drop your kicker?
I think somebody said that, and he said he had Justin Tucker.
Oh, you don't drop your kicker.
I drop Callaway. I mean, I'm not, he's fine. But, like, if it was week one, pre-week one, I'd be like, drop A.J. Green. But he's been producing. Actually, I would have said drop McKissick, but he's been producing. And I love Callaway. But, like, Callaway's too hit or miss. And Winston's just not looking that good. I know it was bad weather. But I dropped Callaway.
And you got Traquan Smith back. They were looking for Kenny Stills. I mean, you're right. And then Michael Thomas. I mean, I know he's a couple weeks away, but that makes sense. All right, Antonio, Dallas or Arizona? Obviously, Arizona playing the Thursday night game against the Packers. Dallas is the Sunday night game against the Vikings. Vikings.
I feel like Arizona is the easier call, but I don't see Green Bay rolling over and dying. Like, before we get to our Thursday thing, top two receivers out, but it's A-Rod, and he can make, like, much like Brett Favre used to do, he can make guys that aren't very good better. Green Bay will score points. Their defense has been playing really well. It's going to be very tough. I mean, that's one note I would have had written down. I said, we made the move to play Green Bay defense. We said, but there's two things that always hurt them. Pass catching, shifty running back, and a running quarterback. And Heineke ran all over him. So the one thing that worries me, my team going into Thursday, is Kyler Murray. I mean, if anybody can run all over anybody, it's going to be Kyler Murray, right? If it's not Lamar. Mm-hmm. But he hasn't been running too much. So maybe they switch that on the short week. But I kind of like Dallas coming off the bye for whatever reason. I think Arizona's probably the safer, smarter, what's the word? Maybe the more square pick. Like, people are just going to jump on Arizona if they can because Devontae Adams is out. But Green Bay still has a ton of weapons. Even the guys who aren't big names yet, like Amari Rodgers, like he'll finally get some playing time if MVS comes back. Bobby T resurfaced for you all that love him last week. They still got Jones. They still got Dillon.
You got Randall Cobb too, man. They brought him back for a reason. A-Rod wanted him back. I can see this being Cobb being like a Cooks almost in a way. He's going to see a ton of targets, but it's going to be for 3 yards. It's going to be for 6 yards. It's going to be for 8 yards. He'll have one down the field. Like, I can kind of see him sneaking them in like that.
Yeah, I would take Dallas because I feel, and I hope, it's a little bit heart, but it's a little bit head. Aaron Rodgers likely won't allow many turnovers to occur. Dallas can make some turnovers with the defensive player of the year and the defensive rookie of the year on their teams, and Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons. So I'm going to go with Dallas. I think Arizona is the square, easy play, But I will go with Dallas in this one, Antonio. Hopefully you're watching.
All right. Jeremy with, honestly, I'm somewhat proud of myself. Okay. First time in a 14-team league and against a tough group of owners. I'm third in ABG. Good job, dude. I didn't realize you were all the way up there. More worried about my league. I fell out of the playoff spot this week and now have to play a top team in the league.
So beat him.
That's why you're here, baby. That's why you're here.
Yeah, get him.
All right. Here's Spencer's question. Let me share my screen real quick. Give me a sec.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. All right. So guess is totally gone now.
That's okay.
All right. Spencer with, who am I dropping and who am I keeping? Need a kicker and 3 people are coming off IR. So I'm going to drop this down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take off the questions. And now, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So that's the people that he has on his bench. A-Rob, Myers, Moore, Pollard, Gainwell, Herbert, Ricky Seals-Jones, Damian Williams.
Yeah.
He did mention that he has 3 guys coming off IR. Also has 2 on his bench. Hasty. Guys coming off IR are Hill, Hilton, and Trey Lance. This has to be his super flex league, the fact that he has this many quarterbacks.
You know, I'd probably I mean, the Trey Lance, I guess you could hold on to. I know you don't want to drop the Taysom Hill. We thought it was good. He got hurt. I mean, I get rid of Ty for sure. I just get rid of Ty. I know. But when you look back at his, you can go back. When we look at those wide receivers that he has, you know, I know you hate to drop running back depth, but I would probably be okay dropping Damian Williams. And then I'd probably either get rid of, I know everybody loves Ricky Seals-Jones. I'd probably get rid of, is this sacrilegious, Myers?
You know what's funny is that I dropped Myers in a league this week, and I know he gets a ton of targets. That offense is just all over the place, though.
Yeah, I would drop Myers, Damian Williams, and Ty. And the only reason you have to do it is so you could get 2 quarterbacks back on your team that are going to sit the bench. So it's like, if you don't like dropping Myers or Damian, then drop what's his face, Taysom Hill. I mean, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, Winston's still the quarterback. I mean, they haven't announced it, and they may, if he comes back healthy. I kind of agree with guests saying this is going to actually complicate things a little bit more. He also has to pick up a kicker, so he has to drop somebody else because he has Justin Tucker, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be dropping Justin Tucker. So he's probably going to have to drop another one of these persons to pick up a kicker.
I mean, what's his starters? Did you tell us his starters? Is there anybody droppable there? Probably not.
He didn't mention the starters, no. But I'm sure he's watching.
Because I'd love to know who his tight end is. Because if he's got a good tight end who maybe already had a bye or who has a week 14 bye, I'm dropping Ricky Seals-Jones and picking up a kicker.
Yeah, he actually even put, I might have to get rid of Ricky Seals-Jones.
Yeah. So there you go. Myers, Williams, Ricky Seals-Jones, Ty. Keep your quarterback depth. You don't need the 2 extra receivers. Damian Williams, you're not going to need. You got a bunch of other good guys. That's what I do. That's what you have to do.
All right, we're going to bring it back. All right. Sorry, trying to find my grounds here again. All right, Antonio with another one here. I'm sorry, we didn't answer his kicker question. My bad. Which kicker should he be picking up? McManus, Myers, Joseph, McPherson, Elliott. There's just a bunch of names here. You can see.
Yeah. I kind of like Crosby. Thursday game, they might not score as many touchdowns. If the defense can keep Arizona from going bonkers, bananas, they could kick some field goals. Indoors, pretty much. I kind of like Crosby this week. McPherson, that's the Browns guy, right?
Yeah.
Going against Pittsburgh. Or is McPherson the Bengals? Who's the Bengals guy?
All right. McPherson is the Bengals. My bad.
Okay. I kind of like him. McManus is good. I'd go Crosby. I feel like they're going to be able to move the ball. They might not be able to punch it in the end zone. It's a Thursday game. Hopefully the defense can keep Arizona. They got so many weapons. It's going to be tough. But I kind of like Crosby. And I don't love him. But it's like, you got so many guys here. Go with your gut. You want a game with good weather and playing against a pretty decent defense with a good offense. That's how I look at a kicker. And that's what Crosby is, playing against a decent defense with a good offense who could stall indoors. Crosby, Thursday game, kicker.
All right. I like it. Antonio with a question. Patterson, Pittman, or Cooks?
How do you bench Cordarrelle Patterson?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, Pittman looked great. I mean, he had that one big catch. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Wentz was looking for him, but I just felt like every single time Pittman caught the ball, there was a penalty.
Yeah.
I think that happened like 3 times during the game.
And they're playing Tennessee, terrible defense. I can't bench Patterson. I'm sorry. He's like the most integral part of that offense still. So I think you got to just roll with him. I know Cooks is Cooks, but man, Davis Mills is coming down to earth. Patterson for me.
All right. Jeremy with, I'm the overall points leader. Nice job, dude. Keep on scoring. Not against us, though, when you play us.
No.
Jamar is my boy. Dude, Jamar is looking great, man. I mean, this kid put up numbers that it reminds me of Randy Moss. Like, that's the kind of impact he's having his rookie season, man. I'm thinking of scooping Beasley in my league, dropping Penny. He did nothing last night.
Yeah, well, 2 things. One, I think, like I said, Beasley's going to get an uptick with Knox out. 2, Penny did nothing his first game back against a pretty good rush defense with a terrible quarterback in bad weather, and they hardly gave him many touches. I think it will increase. Penny is a stash for depth, but I think you could make this move if you need a wide receiver. Just be prepared to maybe pick up Penny in the future because it could come around depending on how long Carson's out, and it could not. So if you got a bunch of running backs and you need a wide receiver, go for it.
All right, Michael with Lazard put on COVID list. Yeah, I saw that, bud.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before. I think it's going to be a Gainwell or Scott if Sanders is out a couple games. So you can already mention.
Yeah, I think Scott's going to get the first crack at it. I think he'll be the starter. I think he'll get the majority. But Gainwell's going to be used. Put in a claim for both. And if you get one, then play him if you need him. I think you'll get some production.
And especially going against the Lions this week. I mean, the Lions are just not that good. I mean, their defense actually has played okay. I mean, they don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. They looked good against the Rams, but they knew the importance that they were on prime time. They're like, we're not letting the Rams destroy us the way people are thinking they're going to destroy us. All right, Jeremy here. I'm 6'1". D. Adams owner can hardly roll on roster. Would you trade T. Hill and J.D. McKissick for Edmonds and Adams? I could start Debo and Mike Williams instead for this week.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I mean, Chase Edmonds, we got to see. Hill's going to have I think they're going to be fine. But Adams is so consistent that even in last year and the year before with Tyreek Hill, he has some down games. Every once in a while you have a down games from Adams, but they're, I think, a little more few and far between. I don't hate it, but it's mostly because I'm not a big McKissick guy. And I like Edmonds. It's just tough there with so many weapons. I mean, I would do it. Either way, having Debo and Mike Williams instead is, I don't think you lose. I don't think you lose either way. If your bye weeks work, go for it.
All right. Spencer, if Justin Fields sucks ass, I want Dalton in, which is sad. The kid has no confidence right now. Everything that he's done has been a mistake and it's cost them football games. I mean, that's what pretty much what's come down to. So, Josh, with I wanted Fields during draft, glad Pat's got Mac Jones. That kid looks good, man. I mean, they beat up on my Jets, don't get me wrong, but that team is just, it's Belichick. It doesn't matter who's back there, man. I told you Fields suck. Herbert, though, taking over Williams.
You got to rewind that statement. Yes, it does matter who's back there, because Mac Jones, like I said, draft night texted you Brady 2.0. Does matter who's back there because Cam Newton.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, you're right. Good point.
Cam Newton was terrible. Now Jimmy G did have that one good season when Brady went down, but Jimmy G isn't terrible.
Remember Matt Castle? The contract he got?
Yeah, he came through right too, right?
No, he sucked, dude. As soon as he left the Pats, he did not do well.
No. For the Pats. Was he the one that had the big season when Brady got hurt?
Castle had a huge
They
season.
missed the playoffs, though, but they were like 14-2 or something, or 13-3.
Something like that. But he ended up coming out of he got the huge contract from KC and just was absolutely horrible.
Yeah. So,
but Jimmy G did the same thing when,
Right. Yes, but you're definitely better off than Mac Jones.
Drop Tim Patrick for Agnew, half-point PPR.
I don't hate it, especially with Judy coming back. I mean, Tim Patrick just slides to their number 3, Judy in the slot. All Tim Patrick does catch touchdowns, but I don't hate it. You're going to get, I feel like, a lot more catches out of Agnew. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, and this Josue was the one who asked the questions. He said that he had Trevor Lawrence as well. Again, I think that's okay, especially if you're looking for double BB bangers later on, and especially if Agnew comes on. I'd rather take a risk. You know what you're kind of getting out of Tim Patrick. You don't know how Jerry Judy's going to affect him, but Agnew has that up-and-coming potential. Can I super chat, or how can I ask my question?
I'm not sure what a super chat is, but I freaking love it. What is it?
That sounds amazing.
I want to know what a super chat is.
Yeah, sorry, Jeremy. This is kind of how we go through things. We go through all the comments. We answer the questions. Welcome. I'm not sure if you've seen us before, but that's kind of how we go through. Super chat, I'm assuming, is his question gets jumped to the top. So maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah. Typically on a Tuesday, Jeremy, hopefully you're still watching. Typically on a Tuesday, we open with a rundown of the Sunday games. We highlight our good calls and whatever few bad calls that we may have had. But I just got so busy at work today that I didn't do it this week, so we just jumped right into questions. So after that, we go into questions. Then we're going to talk about the Thursday game. And then we are on Saturday nights. We used to be on Sunday mornings, but it got so ridiculous because we'd have to be on so early because Rob's kids play soccer. My wife and son go to church. I stay home and watch the baby, so it just got so hectic. We were doing it Saturday nights. It's been working well. We got to figure out what we're going to do this week because schedules are busy. But as far as you're concerned, Tuesdays and typically Saturday nights. And when it gets to the questions, you just post it here. Now, if you're not a member of the Answers by Guest group or the page which preceded the group, we used to just have a page and you could ask stuff on there, but we migrated to a group, so it's a lot more user-friendly. Just like any Facebook group, join the group. You can ask questions right in there. You can get our input. You can get input from everybody else. And then you just hop on the show if you got anything else to add. Or we'll add your questions if they were not answered, just like Rob has been posting those last 10 or so questions. So we'll get to you. I don't know what Super Chat is. Maybe it is bump to the front of the line. I know a lot of people do things with like Facebook stars and stuff like that. You pay money. We would love to make money, but we've been doing this for 5 years for free. So we'll get to your question. We'll answer your question. We'll answer everybody's questions. We always make sure to do that. So just tune in, join the group, and we'll take care of you, man. Thank you for joining us here.
Oh yeah, group members are awesome too. Not only do we give our opinions, like Guest said, but these guys know what they're talking about too. So,
Mhm.
Chris, with a question: what to do with Khalil Herbert and Damian Williams situation? You kind of
Yeah,
mentioned it before. If you want to
yeah,
kind of go over it again a little bit.
yeah. I kind of touched on it. I think that Herbert has shown that he deserves some PT even when Montgomery comes back. And, Damian Williams is the third down guy, the spell back for Montgomery originally. And if there ever was a time where you would have utilized him many much so, it would have been last week in constant catch up time. But they didn't. They stuck with Khalil for the most part. And I think that tells you what's happening. He's turning heads for the right reasons, is what I said. They like him. He's a rookie. He has not disappointed 1 week. We told you to look at him. We got a little lucky there. We liked what he looked at, but we said, hey, if people are going after Damian Williams, you don't get him. Pick up Khalil Herbert. He's a rookie. He looks good. Pick him up. Did good the first week. Split in time. Damian Williams goes out with COVID. He killed it the second week, and then last week he went against the vaunted Bucks and got 100 yards rushing. Montgomery comes back, he's still gonna get burned, and Montgomery likes to get hurt. So if you have Khalil Herbert, you don't drop him. You don't drop him for the rest of the year. You hold on to him. He's going to continue to get burned.
All right. To think the Bears could have drafted Mahomes.
Bears could have done a
Shoulda,
lot
coulda,
of
woulda.
things. They could
Yeah.
have done a lot of things. They traded up right to the Niners so that they could get Trubisky.
Trubisky. Yeah.
I mean,
First.
but here's the thing: if they got Mahomes, would Mahomes be Mahomes?
Very good point.
Mahomes might be Trubisky. That's the thing because Justin Fields is not ready, but it's becoming clear that it's the coaching staff as well. It's been clear for weeks now, because Trubisky showed in the preseason for the Bills, right, that he looked pretty good
Yeah.
still, and it was like,
And that
whoa,
was in garbage time.
right, which is against the scrub defenders, but still, and he had some flashes for the Bears. I didn't understand why they got rid of him and why they didn't like him so much. They benched him. He had some flashes. So to think if the Bears got Mahomes, Mahomes might not be Mahomes. Trubisky might be Mahomes. Like, you don't know. Coaching matters. So many
I want a
casual,
shirt that says coaching matters.
and it's not a knock on anybody because for the most part we are as well. But so many casual fans, we don't realize, especially in football, how much coaching matters, how much the schemes that the coaches, how they govern the players, for lack of a better term, it matters. And that's why you see a lot of times players on one team have success, they go to another team, they don't. I mean, we were just talking about it with Bill Belichick, right? Coaching matters, and the right situation can make the right player, a superstar. And that could be, not to take anything away from Mahomes, but imagine if he didn't have Andy Reid's offense. Alex Smith was like a top 5 fantasy quarterback the year that Mahomes got drafted. Mahomes played only in week 17. Alex Smith was killing it. Alex Smith is not a good quarterback. I'm sorry. God bless him, with his leg and everything else. But he was not good in San Francisco. He was not really that good in Washington. He had an amazing trajectory with the Chiefs, an amazing year. Coaching matters. So as a Bears fan, if that's what you are, Jeremy, don't beat yourself up too much about not getting Mahomes. Beat yourself up about your coaching staff. They're the problem. And we've said that for weeks.
And to add to your point, adjustments during the game that coaches make are, I think, the biggest thing that makes the difference between an Andy Reid, between a Bill Belichick and these guys, a Shanahan back in the day. I mean, these guys, McVay, they know how to change the game within the game. Because if something's not working, I'm not sticking to it. I'm not going to keep on going with the X's and O's the way I'm looking at it. I got to change something.
Speaking of it, coaching move of the year, Detroit Lions.
Oh, yeah. I won't even give a round of applause on that one, man.
Oh, my God, it was amazing. Go right down the field, score a touchdown, onside kick. Then you get forced to 3 and out, fake punt, get it back. You still only got a field goal out of all that, but God, that was just took guts, and they executed it. Like, that's what you had to do. And they were right there. We lost the game by 3 points again or whatever. So, coach, that's coaching. That's coaching.
He figured, I'm going to lose probably pretty bad if I don't take shots. And he took shots, and they worked for him.
They had a chance, but Goff be golfing.
All right, Corey. I have George Kittle on IR, picked up Ricky Seals-Jones. Wondering if I should grab Zach Ertz until Kittle can maybe get back to his normal self. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take him over Ricky Seals-Jones.
Mm-hmm.
You have Kyler Murray throwing to him now compared to Heineke throwing to Ricky Seals-Jones. You answered this kind of before. Great question. Is Damian droppable? You said yes. I give up. Maybe sorry. That's a different question, I guess, than what was asked before.
I mean, it depends. I feel like sometimes, and again, not knocking on anybody here, but sometimes, we want to make a move just to make a move, right? Hey, right? I got to pick up, I got to drop, I got to shake things up. In the grand scheme of things, that changes nothing. Changes nothing. If you're dropping Damian Williams, what are you picking up? Are you getting something better? Are you getting something you're going to use? I mean, is he going to be valuable to you? Probably not that valuable. But if anything happens to Herbert or Montgomery gets hurt again, then he has value. Is he your 5th running back and you are stacked everywhere else? Then you might as well just hold on to him if there's nothing really out there. If you really need a wide receiver 3 or a wide receiver 4 because you got some buys coming up, and there's somebody sitting out on the wire that you're like, oh, maybe, I could use this guy, KJ Osborne. Like, he's like the best wide receiver that's on the waiver wire. Like, and I had 4 solid running backs. I'd be like, you know what, let me grab him now just in case something happens to Adam Thielen. And then I got a wide receiver 2 in my wide receiver 3 spot. So, like, any lower than him, and he's not high by any means, but any lower than him, I'm just hold on to him. You don't have to make a move. It doesn't make anyone better. No one in the world will know. Like, your players are going to be like, oh, man, he just cut Damian. Oh, shit. We better step our game up. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not the same mentality. We want it to be that way. But sometimes, like, that's why some people get, like, trade crazy. Like, I got to shake things up. And it feels good. It makes you feel good. You're like, oh, I got a new team. I'm fresh. But really, it's like, are you making yourself better? If you're not dropping Damian for anyone that's going to make you better, could be making you better week 12. If you've got those bye weeks in line, you're like, all right, I'm going to drop him. I'm going to pick up this guy because I'm going to use him week 12 because he's playing against Houston. All right, now you're thinking ahead. Now you're thinking, I'm dropping him. He could be valuable, but this guy's going to be more valuable in the future. So I'm going to grab him now before somebody else does. Then you can drop him.
Yeah, I like your thinking, man. And to be honest, like I'm number 1 in the league right now. I have the most points and stuff like that. I think I've made like 4 or 5 moves. I think I picked up Eli Mitchell, and my team has literally pretty much been the same besides having to fill in like a bye week for the Saints defense last week or changing a kicker out because my kicker sucks for the 2 weeks in a row, and it wasn't giving me the points that I was looking for, you know? And I'm not saying don't be that cautious either because I overthink everything, but I'm just more of it's okay to stay put to a certain extent, like you're saying. Like I haven't really made tons of moves. I'm thinking about trying to make a trade, and that's probably going to be the last question of the day after we go through everybody else's. But again, it's more of do I even need to a certain extent.
And don't get me wrong, you could blow up the team sometimes and get new guys in there, and on top of it feeling you well, it could work. But it's like if it's working and you don't really need anything else, and you might as well just hold on to them until you need something else.
All right. Josue, with that O-line wouldn't help Mahomes. Yeah, not against the Bears O-line. I totally agree with you on that one, man. Sean, Rob, Knicks Eastern Conference Finals this year. Mark my words. From your message there to God's ears. I hope so, man. They look good. I mean, this is probably the best I've seen the Knicks in a very long time. I've been a fan my entire life, and I'm excited. Like, I usually go in with excitement, with the weary of typical Knicks. This feels a little different, man. What is a good trade to offer for Herbert?
It's kind of a loaded question. Like with everything in fantasy, you need context. You have to know, what are you working with. I can tell you, like, I would not trade Elijah Mitchell for Khalil Herbert. I would not, because I think it's clear that Shanahanigans are not occurring, and that's his running back, and that's who he's using, and he's doing a damn good job. So, like, if that draws a line in the sand anywhere for you, Jeremy, like a name like Elijah Mitchell is not somebody I would trade for Herbert. I'd rather have Elijah Mitchell. It depends on what you got. I mean, I would be okay giving up AJ Dillon, who's like an insurance for the most part. He didn't have a good week last week, but the 2 or 3 weeks before that were good. I doubt that the owner would trade you Herbert for Dillon, but you could sell it and be like, hey man, Montgomery's coming back sometime soon. What if Aaron Jones gets hurt? Got AJ Dillon. Oh, I like
Chase
what you're
Edmonds
saying.
is somebody else that pops in my mind. Something like that. I'm trying to upgrade to get Herbert. I would trade a Chase Edmonds because, again, there's two guys there. That's a high-powered offense, but you're getting a lot of burn out of Herbert there as well.
Zach Moss.
Yeah, or even Singletary, like one of the two, I would think would actually be okay.
Yeah, somewhere along those lines. Somebody with value, but not somebody that's like an every week, like, I got to start this guy. Because that's what Elijah Mitchell is at this point. You got to start him every week.
All right. We just dropped Gainwell in ABG League a few days ago.
Yeah, I saw.
It happens, man. It happens.
I saw. We won't get him, but I put in a waiver.
Waiver, of course, yeah.
Somebody else will get him.
But Spencer with the thumbs up. Marty, your thoughts on DJ Moore? I have Woods and Godwin. Until McCaffrey is back, I don't see passing game even opening up. Maybe QB play awful. You know what? Just real quick to kind of chime into there. They're trying to trade for Watson. I don't know if that makes any difference, but they're trying to trade for Watson. Go.
The last sentence says it all.
Sam Darnold is the same Sam Darnold that he was on the Jets, it looks like.
QB plays awful. I mean, you take away Sam Darnold's like 6 rushing touchdowns in the first 3 games, and it's like, what have you done? What have you done? DJ Moore helped him greatly, and it was nobody else. DJ Moore is just fine. I am not a big DJ Moore guy. DJ Moore looked like a world beater the first couple weeks. Sam Darnold was seeing clearly. He was rocking. The team was socking.
Oh, sorry.
So it's like I never was, and I wasn't in the preseason. And I even said after like week 3, when we did the Tuesday show, I was like, hey, I guess I was wrong going into the season about DJ Moore. He's killing it. But now the past few weeks, it's like, well, maybe I wasn't that wrong because I wasn't that high on Sam Darnold. But my thoughts on him, you got Woods and Godwin. And just like I just said up there to, I think it was Spencer, about dropping Damian or Jeremy, whoever it was, it's like, are you asking, should I drop DJ Moore? Absolutely not. No, you put him on your bench. If you don't like the matchup, you don't play him because you have Woods and Godwin. He's good to have. Trade him if you don't like him, but get something good. I don't see the passing game even opening up, you say. Maybe they got to put the backup in. Isn't it the dude that played in the AFL or something like that?
Whitaker? PJ Whitaker, I think his name is.
PJ Walker.
Walker, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that helps. But yeah, my thoughts on him, exactly what they were. Exactly what they were in the preseason, which was not what I said after week 2 or 3. After week 2 or 3, I said I was wrong. I said DJ Moore, I guess he is a wide receiver 1. But he's right back to where I thought he would be preseason. But he's good to have because he's the best wide receiver on their team. But you play Woods, you play Godwin, and you keep DJ Moore as your number 3. And that's not a bad number 3 to have at all. Number 4.
I'm just going to put this back up here again because I just love the comment. Rob Nix in the Eastern Conference Finals this year. All right. Let's go.
Speak it into existence.
Please. It's being recorded right now. I'm going to come and watch week 8 again. Tim Patrick, Elijah Moore, or AU. Tim Patrick is playing Washington. Elijah Moore against Cincinnati. And AU is playing the Bears.
Yeah, it's not Ayuk. It's not Ayuk because he's in the same boat as DJ Moore for me. He's even worse because he hasn't even at least looked good. He had one good week. Elijah Moore with Joe Flacco as the quarterback.
It may be Mike White.
You think so? Flacco played. I know it's a new coaching, but he played okay for the Jets for a little bit of time last year. So it's not too far removed. He knows. Well, I guess he doesn't really know many because Corey Davis is new, Elijah Moore is new, Michael Carter's new. Tim Patrick's going to slide to that 3 against Washington because Judy's going to play this week. The Jets are going to be playing catch-up against the Bengals, I think. I'd probably go with Elijah Moore. But if you want to be a little safer, you take Tim Patrick because he'll score a touchdown. He might get 2 catches for 45 yards, but one of them will be a touchdown for 7 or 17 or something like that.
All right. Marty said also Gallup coming back. Do you like Gallup better than Mooney or Pittman? Pittman, Gallup, and drop Mooney?
Out of those 3 this week, I'd go Pittman. I have Gallup. I've been holding them in the injured reserve. Somebody dropped him. I picked him up a few weeks ago. Yeah, he's coming back, but let's see it. Especially with Dak a little banged up. Let's see it. See the chemistry get back together. Let's see what the practice reports say. I'd go Pittman going against Tennessee.
I agree. And if you have to drop Mooney, I think I'm okay with putting Gallup. I mean, you have to take him off injured reserve. So, I mean, hopefully that doesn't bite you, but the offense for Chicago is just not there. Might have to get rid of Ricky Seals-Jones. We already talked about that. I'm going to post my lineup in the group after the show. Tell me if there's a way I can improve. I projected to lose 142 to 117 when I feel I have a decent team. Projections don't mean anything, man. That's just that I honestly don't know why Yahoo does it to a certain extent.
Everyone does. Everyone.
Every league does. And I think it's just to give you kind of comfort. It's like, oh, man, this guy should be getting 13 points. And I know they take the averages and stuff like that. Matchups. You really just got to look at matchups. Javonte Williams, for example, was supposed to get 8 points for us, and he ended up getting double that. You know? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I'm just saying, like, by tomorrow night, that could be 140 to 126. You know what I mean? They also fluctuate throughout the week. That doesn't mean your team got any better. That just means that, like, their mood changed, which is, you know, that's valid because that's why we do a show on Tuesdays, and a lot of times we'll answer about the starters, and we'll say, you know, check back with us Sunday morning or Saturday night now because our feelings change.
Feelings.
Right? Your feelings. You got me in my feelings. And I start to feel a certain way. I'm like, you know what? I recommended Pittman, but I'm kind of feeling Gallup because, you know, now Cooper's a little banged up and Dak's been practicing in full. You know, that could happen. So, like, I'm saying Pittman, but it could be Gallup by Sunday morning. But I'll let you know that in our show, Saturday night or Sunday morning. But I'm going Pittman in that question. And Jeremy, you can post your lineup all you want, but I got a feeling that your lineup is just fine. And all you have to do is just prove the projectors incorrect. It's one of my favorite things to do. Typically, my teams are
T plus.
yeah, D
but top of the
plus,
league somehow.
D plus, 1 in 12. And it's like, and then you look like in our main league, the champion gets their name on the trophy. You get to have a trophy, they get a T-shirt. All right, we make a T-shirt. It's got a T-shirt. And the last time I won was an occurrence of that. And so on the back, I took the screenshot of the Yahoo projections. They had me at 1 in 12, number 14 in the league. And then the end, which had me at 15 and 1 with the most points. It's like, don't trust these guys. They don't know anything. Like they do, but they don't. They get paid. I don't know why.
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
All right. Spencer answering from before. My starters are pretty good. Gesicki was his tight end. So, yeah, Ricky Seals-Jones would be somebody I'd be more than comfortable with dropping, especially with the week 14 bye.
Yeah.
Dave, watching you guys from Mexico. Dude, enjoy. He's on vacation.
Rub it in.
Yep, I know. As we're standing here in the rainiest weather. Dude, the monsoon that happened last night in New York was ridiculous. There was so much thunder, my house felt like it was like vibrating for like 25 minutes. All right, Josh, need to pick 2. Jefferson versus Dallas, DJ Moore versus Falcons, Ridley versus Panthers. If Chubb is out, I'd have to play the 3rd in flex.
I would just go into it tonight and just play all 3. And, I mean, Chubb could be back, but it's against Pittsburgh. And if it's Case Keenum, could be good, but they also probably will give Dearness a little bit of burn. Not quite sure if we'll see the same thing out of Dearness that we saw last Thursday. But, as of right now, I put the 3 wide receivers in. And I know we just talked down a little bit on DJ Moore, but he will be needed. The Falcons' offense is trending up. So you go Justin Jefferson, Ridley, Chubb, if you're feeling good about Chubb with full practices. Otherwise, you put all 3 wide receivers in. I think you'll be okay either way.
The way they're making it sound is that Chubb's going to try to play, but I think you're right. Dearness is going to get some love still because they don't want to hurt Chubb any more than he's already going.
Yeah.
Did you say which kicker to pick up? I think you had said Crosby, right?
Yeah.
Take the Thursday magic.
Thursday defense down a few, or offense down a few players. It's a pretty good defense indoors. Their defense is playing okay. Hopefully they could hold the Cardinals out of the end zone a few times, which has happened already this year. Matt Prater's been killing it as a kicker for them. So it could be a field goal matchup. Take a shot. It's indoors. Good kicker. Yeah, he had a miss last week, but it was a block.
All right. Mahomes, A-Rob connection, though. It may not be Mahomes and Hill, but still a good combination. You're right. If the Bears would have drafted him.
Yeah.
How about the Miami game? They came back and blew it in the end. Now that they have the Bills this week, should I be worried about Waddle and Gesicki? I know, yeah. What a game, though. That was for them to hit the end zone and then to lose it was kind of rough. But
I don't think you should be worried. It's volume. I don't think the Bills should be a worry. I think Devontae Parker, when he comes back, would be your biggest worry for Gesicki. Waddle is to his boy. I'm not. It's the Bills. But what are the Bills good at? Mostly offense, which means Miami needs to throw the ball. Volume. It doesn't matter. You can the Dolphins could lose 60-20 as long as your players get a bunch of targets and yards. Who cares? Right? Volume.
I was worried about Gesicki putting up donuts, and he gave me 20 points in my league. I mean, again, the Bills are a better defense, obviously, but it's just the volume should be there. I mean, they're going to have to throw the ball. I mean, they have 13 tight ends, but they have to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. Maticio, I see you looking right. Yeah, I got it behind me, man. I had it behind me. Maticio has become my fellow Knicks talker. We talk so much about the Knicks. I want to say it's like, oh, you want to take this trade from me? No, okay. So what about the Knicks, man? What do you think is going to happen next? Sean, Darnold is and was only good because of McCaffrey. I mean, McCaffrey makes a big difference for a lot of quarterbacks, man. I mean, look what he did for Teddy Bridgewater last year, too. Or I guess before he got hurt. Mike Davis did it for him technically. But I know he's total boomer bust. What are you believing in Uzuma yet?
Yeah, what a great question. Uzuma has just been around, and he's always been boomer bust. It's not that I don't believe in him. It's that I just know he's boomer bust. But what do I say about tight ends? What have I said about tight ends this entire season? Probably the latter part of last season. It's like you can get 30 yards and 3 catches, you're right there. I know last week tight ends killed it because it was National Tight End Day. Found that out.
Except for the Bucs. He looked nowhere. I mean, Brate should have had a touchdown, but
yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's boomer bust. That's right in line with most tight ends. So
if you have to take a fly on them this week, they're playing the Jets. Not a bad option.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Crosby.
Oh, got it. I just worry about Ridley going up against Gilmore. That goes back to his question from before.
Yeah, it's understandable, but I think Pitts is doing what we thought Pitts would do these past couple games before the bye and after the bye. Somebody's got to pay attention. And Patterson, somebody better pay attention. And even Gage showed up with his Hail Mary drop of the bucket touchdown. So I don't hate Ridley. The only downside to Ridley is if Sam Darnold is absolutely terrible again, they won't need to throw the ball much. The only good part about that is Atlanta does not have a good secondary.
One thing I will say is with Darnold, when he was on the Jets, when he had a very bad game, he tends to follow it up with a better game. He gets into his own head knowing that he has to play better because, I mean, not that his job was on the line, but technically it was. They kind of he had the what is it, writing on the wall? He already sees the writing on the wall again.
Let me just say this real quick. Josh, rule number 1, go with your gut. If your gut tells you to worry about Ridley, you already know the answer. You got to go with it.
It all depends on if Chubb comes back too, man. I mean, he may not have another option besides Ridley. Or you may, but based on the question. National tight end rest of the year with Pitts, baby. Dude, Pitts is, you called in the beginning. He took off a little slow. He's different than all your other tight ends that take 3 years to establish.
He's a wide receiver.
Yeah. A big
He's
one.
Julio Jones.
Again, I think we talked about it. He's like Andre Johnson. Like, he really reminds me of those guys. Who's another one I was Anquan Bolden. That kind of player, you know? All right, let's jump into the Green Bay at Arizona Cardinals Thursday Night Football. You kind of talked about it already.
Yeah.
Let's just go over what you're thinking as far as Green Bay Packers. Talk about the players that you think could actually do well for them with A-Rod, as well as is the running situation going to be a little bit different. Dillon didn't get the ball a lot. He had tons and tons of touches the week before, and before that, didn't really show much love last week. Was it more game script? That's why. On the flip side, you called D-Hop. You said that he was going to have the revenge game. Kyler really didn't have to do much, but Houston kind of had them in a bind in the beginning. You had mentioned before, Kyler hasn't been running as much. I think he's banged up, dude. I really think he's hurting. So how does that affect everybody else around him? Is A.J. Green startable? Is Kirk startable in this game? What are you thinking?
Well, first off, Jeremy Hance, if you're still watching, let us know. Join the page, join the group. And everybody else, thank you for coming. And hopefully, we'll let you know when our show is going to be. It's either going to be Friday night, sometime Saturday, or Sunday early in the morning. We'll let you know. But about this game, kind of talked about it a bunch. I have to think. I thought that Green Bay was going to win this. when I heard about this game last week, I mean, I don't know the schedules. I mean, you say, oh, you're not really a fan of Green Bay. You don't know who they're playing 4 weeks from now. Sorry. Um, uh, I know next week, and I knew they were playing the Cardinals this week from last week or 2 weeks ago. So I thought that they could beat them. I said, oh, this could be great. They're going to have the best record in the conference, and they're going to have a win over the Cardinals. They're going to be a number 1 seed. It's awesome. Devontae Adams out. Alan Lazard's coming on. That's all right. He'll do it. He's out. But it's A-Rod. And A-Rod will make the other weapons viable. If there's any wide receiver I'm going to play, it's Valdez-Scantling if he comes back. But he's, talk about boomer bust, Jeremy. He's boomer bust. If A-Rod hits him, boom, super boom. But he can go over the middle now. Like, that was the big thing why, I was watching some of the preseason stuff and reading a bunch of things, and he changed his game. He's not just a down the field Traquan Smith anymore. He can go over the middle. He could be like, or try to be, Devontae, if needed. Cobb, as Rob mentioned, a couple down weeks, they're going to need him. They're going to need to possess the ball. They're not going to take shots. They're going to want to go slow. It means A.J. Dillon's going to be involved this week. I don't know if I'd feel safe playing anyone other than Aaron Jones for Green Bay. But if this was by Mageddon, if this whole scenario happened week 7, I'd be like, play A.J. Dillon. I'd say take a shot on MVS. Maybe you got to use Randall Cobb in the flex because of all things considered, because it's week 7 by Mageddon. But it's not. It's week 8. So your heavy hitters are back. It's Thursday night. You don't want to go too crazy. I said I feel like if they could both hold each other to some field goals, this could be a field goal back and forth. There'll be touchdowns, but type of game. But the problem with that is that Green Bay's defense, I talked about it on Sunday or on Saturday, they feel like a different Green Bay defense. They are the Green Bay Swiss cheese Packers, right? Swiss cheese, their defense. But not this year. They're looking a little bit better. But this is going to be a tough task. They stink against rushing quarterbacks. Shown last week with Heineke, proven time and time again with rushing quarterbacks. Dating all the way back to Michael Vick running wild on them with the Atlanta Falcons in Lambeau Field in the snow in the playoffs. That's how far it goes back. Colin Kaepernick killed them. Rushing quarterbacks always killed the Packers. And Heineke did last week, but the defense stepped up huge. Tons of goal line stops, 4th down stops, fumbles, picks, things like that. If they can make that happen, then your Green Bay players, could do some things. But Aaron Jones is going to be involved. He's going to catch passes. Dillon can catch passes. They're going to need him. But Arizona just has so many weapons. And I feel like without Devontae, it's going to be very, very tough. And if Green Bay's offense can't do what I think they can, it's going to be a down game for Arizona's pass catchers because they're not going to need to push the ball. But it's not a bad quarterback. You're down your top 2 receivers. A-Rod can make them better. So I'm playing DeAndre Hopkins. We're playing DeAndre Hopkins. People are probably playing A.J. Green. That's about as far as I go. I know Kirk did a couple things last week, but he's boomer bust as well. Rondale Moore is so shifty, he could probably beat this Packers defense. I don't see James Conner having much success. I think that Edmonds will have a better game. If Adams was playing, I'd be telling you to put them all in. but my heart wants me to say that Green Bay could still do it. They could still score. But I just have a feeling that unless Green Bay stops this offense, which is going to be a tall task, and holds to a bunch of field goals and keeps it close, the Arizona players could be down for us all. So tread lightly this Thursday game. I'm going to say 24 to maybe like 13. Green Bay could have a low score. I don't know. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about it. Devontae Adams was one thing. Alan Lazard's another. He's the reason they beat Washington, aside from the defense. Lazard stepped up huge. Without both of them, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So, because it could be tough for Green Bay's offense to score, I don't know if Arizona's players are going to be much needed. But you can't bench DeAndre Hopkins, and if you've been playing A.J. Green this whole time, you got to just keep going to the well.
Are you okay with playing Kyler Murray?
Only because Green Bay stinks against rushing quarterbacks, but he hasn't been running. So you and I were going to have that conversation.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm bringing it up, because I mean, we have Burrow and Kyler, and I think this is a perfect example of, do you take a chance on Kyler on a Thursday night game where you say it may not be as offensive because they may not need to move the ball as much, or Burrow against the Jets?
Before I had a busy day of work where I had no moment to do anything fun, I was going to say I think we should start Joe Burrow over Kyler this week. I was going to say that. Now, at home.
Sorry.
At home, Thursday night, prime time. Like it or not, I'm saying the best two teams, the hottest two teams in the NFC, 7 in a row and 6 in a row. Maybe for the home fans, they want to put on a show and put a stomping down. Maybe Kyler just goes bonkers. Just be like, screw you, Packers. Go back to Wisconsin. 44-10. Eat my shorts.
Kind of like what the Pats did to the Jets last week.
Right. Like, it could go that way. I just have a bad feeling that if my heart isn't correct, and I have to give you all my head, it's not really going to affect too many people. I got to give you my head and not my heart. My heart just says Green Bay is going to have a tough time without Adams and Lazard. Lazard is the key. When I heard that news today, I was like, oh, well, that sucks. Because he's like that guy. You know, he's the puzzle piece.
I think that affects their run game too. Lazard's one of the best
blockers,
best blocking wide receivers I think I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
Best.
So you got that tempers my expectations with Jones a little, except for the fact that he's gonna have to catch the ball in the backfield. That's the dump off. You know, Dillon's gonna probably be your between the tackles kind of guy. That's when they'll bring him in. But Aaron Jones is gonna be definitely there. You know what? Actually, Marty brought up a good point, and let's talk about it. Do you think that the passes by A-Rod to Jones and Dillon double back set? That's definitely a possibility, man.
Yes.
I'm gonna say a lot of 2 tight end back sets as well, with Tunyon, and I'm throwing it out there. This is me just thinking. I for some reason I think Mercedes Lewis is gonna have a touchdown, possibly 2. And the reason I say that is because the comfort zone, he has his big players. He goes to Adams all the time. You got to think about it. Lewis doesn't catch a lot of balls, but when he does, they're usually big plays in the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's stand up old man. That's A-Rod, right? And that's my heart. My heart is saying it don't matter who's out there. A-Rod can will the lower end guys to win, the old men, the lesser known or the lesser used. That's my heart. My heart is Green Bay can still win this game. My head is just saying, I don't know, man. I could be ugly. But I agree with every single thing you said. I think Jones and Dillon are the best two plays for the Packers. Um, Cobb, he's got the relationship with A-Rod. He'll probably lean on him to move the chains, but I don't know if you need to use him. Remember, I said if this was week 7 by Mageddon, I'd be like, use Cobb, use MVS. But it's not. You got your big guns back. We don't need to take chances like that on a Thursday. You got Jones, use Jones. You got running back problems or flex problems, Dillon could be a wild card for you. Dillon can catch passes too. So that the double back set, he could throw it out to those guys. And maybe we see my boy DeGuara, Josiah. Maybe he gets in the game. Maybe go 3 tight ends on your ass.
So you kind of answered this right. It's Tunyon step up then. Your man Bobby T.
I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, and I cannot stand the love for Bobby T. I know he kind of touched on last week, pretty good catch, but it's just, they're going to need him. So if he's your guy and you've been riding with him, buckle up, go for it. You might as well.
Like you said, stand up, man. That was pretty funny, Jeremy. I like that one, man. I'm going to ask a question real quick before we head off. I was thinking about making a trade in our most important league. I was thinking about going after Diggs, but I don't know who to give up for Diggs. I'm kind of thinking Godwin and Tony Pollard for Diggs. Godwin, the reason I say that is because I feel like he's kind of coming back down. I'm sorry, he had a great game. Sell him high. You got AB coming back. You got Gronk coming back. Evans looked fantastic last week without those guys there. I just think the ball goes around too much. And then Pollard is somebody that he's my fourth or fifth. I'm sorry, he's my 5th running back on my team. So it's like, what do I take a chance on going after a big name in Diggs and hoping that this is the turnaround for him and that he's going to be relied on while still giving up 2 decent pieces, I would say.
I don't think it hurts you. You're not using Pollard anyways.
Correct.
And Diggs is the number 1 for his team, and Godwin could be the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, or the number 4.
All right, so you're thinking the same way I am. I think the person would take that trade, to be honest with you, but we'll see what happens. All right. I got another comment here. Top team in my league who I play this week just traded Diggs off for Amari and Henderson.
I feel like you're giving up more than that.
You think I'm giving up more than Amari and Henderson?
I'd rather have Godwin than Amari. I'd rather have Pollard than Henderson. I don't feel like Henderson's going to he's going to get hurt again. And Sony will be healthy again, and they'll throw the ball all over. Pollard's getting burned.
Oh, he is. But if he wasn't my 5th running back, I wouldn't think about trading Pollard. But
no,
I
I'm
have
not saying
Devonta, I have Eli Mitchell. No, I'm just kind of putting the scenario out there for them.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad. I'm saying I would rather have Godwin and Pollard than Amari and Henderson.
Oh, gotcha,
I'm not saying you're giving up too much. I'm saying you're giving up better than that. So if this person, you can't compare 2 people that give up Diggs, but it's like if this person that owns Diggs, it's like, oh man, that's not enough. It's like, I don't know. I think it is. Because if that was enough, but people have their own feelings, so you can't judge it like that. But you get what I'm saying?
No, I definitely pick up what you're putting down. I pick things up and put them down.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Answers by guess. Remember always Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. What we've been doing, like I said, anybody that you want to, share the thing, have them look up hashtag answers by guess. As soon as you put that in any search, we should pop up right away.
We do. So, we do. We've done it. It's there.
Do it.
And we're halfway through. We're halfway through the regular season. 7 weeks down, 7 weeks to go. 50%. So if you're sitting there 2-5, you're not out of it. You could be 9-5. That's probably going to make the playoffs. Stretch, but you don't give up. Keep pushing. Going gets tough, get going.
Flex on them.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Answers by guess. Like you said, look for the post as far as when we're going to be coming. I have a busy schedule this weekend, unfortunately, guys,
Same.
and that's why we're kind of going to trying to go. I guess either Friday or Sunday morning, possibly even Saturday sometime. But look out for us. We always take care of you guys. You know that. So,
All right.
all right.
Yes. Good luck tomorrow. 2 days from now. Sorry. Good luck Thursday. Good luck tonight with waivers.
Yeah. Good luck. And guys, remember, don't overthink it, but go with your gut.
Yep. Have a good night. We'll see you Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Or all three. Dump. No, I'm just joking. All right. Later, guys.
Bye.